Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode here at the Tom Rose School for Professional Dog Trainers. And in today's video, we're going to be introducing a dog to the first step when it comes to teaching search and rescue or a felon search. I know a lot of you have been requesting this video, so I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started.
It's the beginning steps, very start of search and rescue. This dog has had some tracking training. It's had a lot of obedience training. What we're going to do is we're going to have someone hold the dog while the handler, the lady, goes up and hides. We'll turn the dog loose and hope that the dog will try to seek out his owner. All that's necessary is that she goes out of sight, so the dog is just learning to find her. Well, a lot of times, yeah, what I like to do is let the dog turn his back on her.
Now release him.
Okay, you can go ahead and release him then.
Good boy! Yes, good job! Good boy!
As we mentioned, this is the first time this has been done with this dog. And it's quite a challenge to get a dog to quit using his eyes and use his nose. And by making a very slight turn, making kind of a dog leg in it, we're trying to get the dog to decide that he can't use his eyes, especially with the tall grass. Eyes just don't work. He's got to make a turn. You notice when you saw him running through the tall grass, he jumps up and kind of bounds through like a deer would run. He's doing that so he can see where he's going rather than use his nose. If a trained dog would have his nose down in the grass and maybe following the scent rather than trying to use his eyesight.
And off we go.
Like everything else, it would take multiple efforts of doing this over and over, making each track a little bit more challenging depending on the dog's progress. In other words, once the dog has his nose down, we can move forward very quickly. But it may take a week of doing what you just saw to get him to put his nose down and actually follow the scent. That's the hard part. If the trainer would progress too quickly, the problem we would run into is Doug would get burned out and quit looking. We saw that, I think, a little bit on the first, or it was the second track, where he kind of gave up. He didn't try. He couldn't see him, so he thought, well, I can't find her. And then he quits looking and does something else. That means we're challenging him too much. So in the beginning, you want to keep it simple, and the whole thing you're looking for is for the dog to put his nose down and start following the track. Once he actually follows the track, it'll be very easy. In the early days of training, when I first started, nobody knew anything about tracking. And this is actually the way we trained a dog to track. And so it's a very viable way to treat search and rescue. However, with tracking, what we were doing is creating dogs that circled, ran with their head too high, tried to use their eyes, and all the problems that come with what we call trailing, which is they're doing what you're seeing right now. But once the dog got his nose down and working, she can progress to the point that she could run a half a mile or a mile and the dog would follow with no problem. But they can't do that if they're using their eyes. Wooded areas are even easier because it holds the scent better.
Thanks again for watching us. I had a blast. I hope you had a good time as well. And as always, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys next week.